Hi, welcome to another video from Exit Strategy, Mochismo UG. Don't expect closure from narcissist. You will never get it. The closure is their exposure. The narcissist's exposure to you of who they are and who they showed themselves to be once you began to put the pieces to the puzzle. That in and of itself should and always should remain the best reason you need and the only reason you need not to look for closure. When you think back how these people did you, how these individuals, sometimes group of individuals, did you in such a heinous, calculated, deliberate, methodical, premeditated way, all of these things should be resonating in your mind to confirm to you that no closure will ever come. Because with all of these reasons and how deliberate this was, and even though you can't really fathom being that type of person, that's a big part of why a lot of us look for closure. Because when we do things that offend people, something in our conscience does not sit right. We don't feel good about ourselves because we have a certain amount of morals. Doesn't matter how we may be living in ways that might not so much serve us as far as health wise. We may be out partying, drinking, and smoking a lot of excess marijuana or whatever recreational things that we are doing. Empaths are out there in that loop too, because we are trying to go along to get along. We're in that loop. We're doing things that the world do. But one thing about that does not exclude us from having some type of moral compass. We're not so much attached to the things that we do that may not always serve us for our best benefit. On the contrary, for the narcissists, they are hell bent on every negative, dark, demonic thing that they put their hands to. They don't just go out and drink. They drink to medicate and sedate the demons. So, therefore, there's never a conscience there to begin with. When we wake up off of a hangover, we may get a friend or buddy say, "Hey, buddy, you got in a fight last night and you and Joe got into it and you did X, Y, Z to him and, he's hurt up pretty bad." Often, a conscience will make you try to seek resolve, try to seek out of remorse and guilt and a lot of other things that normal people tend to have. You will seek Joe out in some way, shape, or form, or sue. You may call, you may talk to a third party and just to let Joe know, "Hey, I was drunk. If there's anything I can do to make it right, I will." Now, this is not always the case, even with empaths and chosen one, because pride gets in the way. And we will feel justified when we do certain things. But that's not really what we're talking about. We're talking about just the normal way of how a conscience works. So closure will never come from a narcissist to you. Them exposing themselves to you, their exposure is your closure. So don't expect it. And some of you may say, "Well, you know what?" And I almost said my narcissist. A lot of people say my narcissist. No, they're not your narcissist. That narcissist belongs to the devil. So the narcissist that you are involved with, a lot of you all will say, well, I didn't have this or that experience, because they did apologize. They did pay me the money they owed me back. They did make it right in this respect or that respect. Okay, they paid you the money back. But did they ever sit down and have a real heart to heart and tell you face to face, I am so terribly sorry for all the things I took you through and the misery I put you through and the deliberate dismantling of your state of mind? Something to that effect. I mean, if you can get one of those three things I just said, put it in the comments. You won't get none of that. What you got was something of more of an illusion of what they told you what you wanted to hear, because they told you that for one or two reasons. They told you that because a lot of times you catch a narcissist in their in the act of doing whatever you catch them red-handed. They will agreeably say something like, oh, you got me. They will say what you want to hear because they know that you may be that forgiving type person. They know intuitively, based on how they've gotten to know you and how you move and how you think and how you operate. If I can just say to Susan, my bad, you got me, I'm sorry, half-hearted sorry, they know that they can be back in your bed before sundown. You caught me cheating, my bad, I ain't gonna do it anymore. No authenticity there. They said what you wanted to hear, and even when they said it, you didn't believe it, but you went along with it. So these are those little subtle, sprinkled with a little bit of icing, apologies that you may, in fact, sometimes rarely get. But that's not an apology from someone who really, really authentically means it. And another thing, those apologies that you think you got and you can stand on and it's factual, those apologies also serve to put more time on the clock, the playing clock, to play you. And so you may say, oh, okay, they did that and we don't have any problems. We get along fine. We this and that. There's no getting along with a narcissist. So if you're getting along with a narcissist, all you're doing is going along with their little charade. You're playing their game. They're always the one that's running the show. So if you say, I'm getting along with the narcissist, you're not. Actually, you are probably being honest. You are getting along with the narcissist, but the narcissist is not getting along with you. They're going through the motions. Let's go back to square one. The narcissist does not have the conscience like a healthy person. They're void of empathy, first of all. They're void of object constancy. That's kind of like being able to be consistently whole, not just bits and pieces of a person, which is what they are. They're cut and paste. They don't even really have a real identity. And you were married to them for 10, 20 years. Some of you would probably beg to differ. And I'm here to tell you, you got accustomed to a consistency of manipulation. That's the best way I can tell you. Because if walls could talk, you would see a lot of things within this person that you really truly just didn't look good enough at. You didn't pay attention. It's been there the whole time. And when I got out of the narcissistic relationship that I was in, I didn't expect closure, not looking for it, don't ever want it. It's not something that I need, because I got the information. And when I got the information, which is most of what I've been talking to you guys about now as to why the closure never will come, I got this information. And I also lost a job shortly after they left. And I got that information regarding smear. And there was a video of someone talking, and they pretty much verbatimly told me on a video, watching them, sitting here watching a video, they were saying that they will get you fired. And when they said that, wow. So I already knew these things. And so when I heard that, it was constellation. Constellation to me, it wasn't comforting at first, but it became comforting because I knew that I didn't get fired for what I was allegedly accused of. You never are. I think it was a compilation of a few things, but predominantly the narcissist laying out a smear way before the day I got fired. And your friend zone, your friend circles, they dwindle once the narcissist leaves your space. For two reasons. You're waking up, but most often it's because people have heard through the grapevine that you are a mean, violent man, or if you are a narcissist man, the woman will be smeared saying that she's a slut, she's a whore, she's out in the street giving it up to everyone. Your name will be so smutted till the girlfriends that you once knew, they will avoid you like the plague. So don't look for closure, because the narcissist exposure is your closure. That being said, bless.